the scrap, so looks like he doesn't want to have to deal with any kind of cheese or anything like that. I mean, they did defeat the cheese ultimately against D-Dog earlier, which is an amazing series. But
yeah, they did. I mean, that was kind of very different kind of cheese.
Of course, yeah.
That was honestly very interesting to see.
Well, that's what I think. I hate calling it cheese because it's such innovative, creative play, and it was so risky.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you can't really knock anybody for trying something like that. They put it all on the line there, and look at where it's got them. They might end up not even making it to the bracket stages. I picked them as my number 3 team, so.
You know who said aggressive teams like D-Dog might struggle at a LAN environment?
You did?
Yes, I did.
Okay. But also, D-Dog showed a lot of composure in the first game, too. I mean, they're not that giddy, younger team that we saw last year. I personally, watching their games, I feel like they've matured, and it was unfortunate. That was a very close series with MRR.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, they really lost. I mean, if you talk about the Sync D-Dog game to start it off, they only really lost off of one mistake. Mickey made one great play where he dove into the base and killed that Doombringer off the artillery, and that was basically game right there. And versus MRR, I feel like, honestly, I was talking to Punkpang before the games, and he was like, I don't like playing versus Thai teams. I'm scared of going up against D-Dog. I don't like doing it. It's not my comfort zone. I much prefer playing as NAU teams like Sync.
Well, he might get his wish here now that 2 of the slots could potentially. Well, does that mean they throw one of these games?
So I know for a fact that there's beef. There is beef between MRR and D-Dog. They do not like each other. D-Dog makes fun of Punkpang a lot.
Yeah.
And technically, if MRR does lose a game, Sync and D-Dog gets knocked out. So, but again, it's like the pride factor, right?
Right. It's a big role. I don't think that they've done the math and who's going to be number 1 seed to who they're up against, which might be a wise decision if you want to, make it all the way. But I'm banking on here that we're going to see these guys playing their heart out.
Yeah, I think they care so much about that, just beating the other team. 2-0 or 1-1, it's a huge difference in your mentality and how you feel about that game, right? If you go 2-0, you're like, yeah, we beat them. They didn't stand a chance. But
well, yeah, I mean, and MRR with the potential to go undefeated in the group stages, correct?
Yeah.
So that's something, you absolutely want to go. I say we get a little bit of analysis on the draft that's unfolding before us here.
Great.
Punkpang will pick War Beast for his first pick, follow up into Midas Pestilence on the Sync Sports side, and then into Pebbles. Maybe a little.
So I like this Pebbles pick against Pestilence. I think it's a good hero in the lane. Pestilence he's kind of a slower paced hero in the lane. He wants to play that lane slowly and just get that farm. Doesn't really want too much to happen. And who better to take advantage of the lack of aggression than a Pebbles, right? I feel like that's a great hero. You want him to get going, and especially with a War Beast Battle Cry, it's fairly easy for him to set up for plays.
Okay. And now they go with the Dr. Repulsor here. So, I mean, very familiar heroes here as we see time and time again in the tournament here. Do you think there's anything to the Pebbles besides that? Maybe just keeping it out of Mickey's hands, or Sync probably wouldn't have grabbed it after the Pesty anyways?
So they did. I think they did pick the Pebbles before the Pestilence, right? Yeah, they picked the Pebbles before the Pestilence.
Okay, that's correct.
Yeah, so probably, like you said, they were trying to block pick it, and Sync decided to respond with Pesty. And like I said, I don't really know how I feel about that. But either way, the Pebbles always works well with War Beast. If you have Battle Cry, because Pebbles normally has that problem of dealing that last little bit of damage. Usually heroes drop to about like 10% HP, and then you can't really finish them off. But Battle Cry usually forces you above that. So
yeah, it could be the tipping point in the threshold. Definitely agree with that. And any kind of hero with that powerful initiation too. I like so far the draft here coming out by MRR. Dr. Repulsor, such a fun hero to watch. Yeah. We saw earlier today flying in, completely changed the game with that token steal. I was watching from the sidelines, but I mean, it blew my mind. I just loved it. I love those kind of plays here. I actually saw similar plays too in a complexity game that wasn't casted earlier, so I don't know if you guys can watch that on the Codex or something, but it's definitely worth it. So
I like Dr. Repulsor too. This draft from MRR reminds me a lot of what I used to pick for Sync, so I'm happy to see them going for something similar. The Mage Vein response from Sync is something that I know they love doing. They feel like, Dr. Repulsor can't really do a sting against Mage Vein. Right. Me personally, I think this is a very 50-50 matchup. It's all about which hero can stay out. Sync? Are they going to rely on Mage Bane to deal damage in the fights? Because if so, Doctor can just wait. And if he can just wait, he can just jump in with all of his mana, grab that Mage Bane, and with a Health Flower, it's almost a guaranteed kill with a follow-up from a War Beast auto attack. So it's an interesting pick. I think they both kind of countered each other in a way. Mage Bane being weak to long-range initiation, and Doctor being weak to that burst of mana, burst damage from the Mana Void.
So there's more to it. I mean, we know Mage Bane's very powerful, but you know, there's two sides to the story. It may not be a direct counter here. We're going into the banning phase here too, so I mean, let's get right into that. Surprisingly, Peng Peng takes out Vindicator and Parasite. I know Vindicator is a very popular pickup for most of the tide teams, but again, against Dr. Pulsar, it just makes sense.
Yep.
But the Parasite, any specific reason? I mean,
so during their scrim days and in the past, Ophelia, Parasite have always been two bans against Sync. Like, whenever we played them, Ophelia, Parasite, even in the first two back then. But now they've come to realize that, you know what, Slap doesn't really value those heroes as highly, and he really just values Ophelia above Parasite, so they decided to ban it out on the second stage. What's really interesting to me is that they didn't ban out Lord South Forest. I feel like this hero has been doing work every game, and an EU team has picked it up.
I don't know how many times Slap has picked it, but every team has given him the opportunity to. I don't think I've seen it banned once today, and it is kind of surprising. So, also, if you see the player cams right there, that's pretty cool. It looks like MRR is completely like huddled up, making the team decision. I mean, he obviously can accomplish the same thing over Discord, but
but I think that
I
kind of a
to see that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that kind of a thing also shows more like team spirit. They feel closer to each other.
Right.
You know, you're physically more close, but it also usually indicates that you're more comfortable around each other. And this lineup for Sync is the first time they're at a LAN together. So, and you got MRR, who's attended every LAN since the beginning of Han almost.
Yeah, and that could be, I mean, that could definitely have an effect on how you perform at a LAN. I mean, you said it, MR is one of the best teams on LAN. Obviously, they hug it out.
True. And you know what other team used to stand like that? Stay green, dude.
Yeah, I do recall that. Celebrate together, cheer together.
Stay what?
Together.
Stay what?
Stay gold.
Stay green.
Stay green. Well, it wasn't very tricky. I thought you were going for some kind of...
that was like their chant at LAN. So they would huddle up, and then Swindle would scream, stay what? And then everybody else would respond, stay green. It's a pretty cool thing they did. But back to the draft. I'm really curious about this Martyr. Do you know how that works with Lord South Forest ultimate? Can he heal through it?
I feel like we've talked about this a few times.
I feel like he can.
I mean, we can read it here. I think it would work
because it says it sets your HP, right?
It sets it. It's not like a regenerate. It's not like it grants a million regeneration like the old Jeremiah ultimate used to do. So I think it would still work. And wow, there's a hero we haven't seen yet this entire tournament.
The Dark
Lady. Yes.
Do you like that hero?
I like the potential that she has. She's a very powerful hero, and you know, you throw a cleaver on her, it's like she was built to deal damage to multiple heroes. You know what I mean? Which a lot of carries, you know, now it's single target. Mage Bane, I guess so, but it's just that extra oomph on top of it. We don't like to see her with a Tempest or something.
Really?
But a Dark Lady Tempest? No.
You like that? I feel like I like this. This is a I'm gonna run at you and I'm gonna fight you kind of lineup.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Sorry. Okay, is it better?
Okay. So what we're gonna see is a great chasing team here on the Legion side. Decent amount of lockdown, the Pebble stun, the silence from Dark Lady, and the opposite charges. They're definitely gonna need some more items, like a sheep stick or something later on.
Yeah, no, for sure. They, like you said, they lack lockdown. That is the biggest drawback to their lineup. But if they fight early enough, I feel like it's really, really powerful. Interesting to see here. They're actually running their War Beast on the off lane, it looks like. 070 on that War Beast. God KSSA, who is their position 4 player on the Dr. Pulsar. So most likely a jungle Dr. Pulsar. And whenever they do that, they like to go for those Alchemist bones, which the Thai teams are really famous to do.
Yeah.
Expect the Striders into Alchemist bones on Doctor, for sure.
Yeah, and I do like that. I mean, So Suicide War Beast, you think he's going to jungle from the start on Dr. Repulsor, you're saying?
Yeah, most probably.
Okay. I know a lot of times we'll see them kind of maybe start off in the lane and maybe on 2-3 rotate, but yeah, that could definitely work out for them. And at least ensuring they get a little bit of farm. Now for Hellborn team, so they last picked Tempest. I didn't actually even look at that until now, and what do you think about that? I mean, there's so much AoE synergy now when you add that into the mix.
Anyone that's followed me for a longer period of time in Han knows that I pretty much have half of my game time that I've played Han, I've played Tempest. I absolutely love that hero. And Slap is definitely one of the players that has played it a lot too. So
okay.
He plays this kind of sit-back Tempest normally, where he tries to go for those big ultimates. I'd say there's like 2 different main styles of how people play Tempest. There are those that play that sit-back, go for the 5-man holes, go for that game changer, really just play their entire game around just getting that one hole that wins in the game.
See, I'm so against that.
Yeah?
It's such a long cooldown, and I hate to see it go unused. It almost caused complexity earlier when they played Tempest. They had a chance to take the Silhouette out, but you see what you got. He's kind of hesitant on using that just one person. Silhouette got the deny, kind of shifted the momentum a bit. I'm all for use it and then just know for the next 300 seconds we got to play a little more passively.
No, I
it's
like
different
that
if you have like a tool, but yeah, I like using it more than just waiting for that big.
Right. So I think
combo.
I don't know if you agree with me, but I feel like it's always dependent on the game, obviously, but. If you want to play the other style, which is more like the frontline Tempest, where you go for like these team items most of the time, and you really just try to get that one guy dead with your ultimate, like you were mentioning. And I just very rarely see Slap do that. But during this event, he's been doing way more self-sacrifice. Slap is generally a guy that you see take that like sit back roll and really try to shine. But during this event, I really feel like he's been, he's putting his ego aside almost, you could say, and just really taking the hit for the team. And in doing so, I feel like he's been looking even better when he's playing. Yeah,
I think that's really important. It's something that I noticed that the Thai team's doing as well. Now maybe it rubbed off on them playing here. You get a nice little shout out from your homeboy there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen it where somebody was struggling in lane, like their mid player, and then they just like, oh here, you can take this double stack camp to kind of get back into it. It's something that I never saw happen in the NEU region. And all of the games I casted, it always seemed like this hero, they need their farm, stay out of my jungle.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay out of my lane. And it makes a difference. Anytime anybody who's played Han, you're struggling a little bit. Somebody buys you a TP, gets you back into the lane quicker.
Oh yeah.
It makes a huge impact. So those self-sacrifices, I think if Zlapt is doing that, and you've taken notice of it, I mean, that could be part of the reason they're having a lot of success today. After the first game they lost to D-Dog, I'm sure everybody was really nervous over there. Even as just watching, I was nervous.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not be? That strategy from D-Dog in Game 2, I honestly, I said it during my cast, I feel like they should have won that game. It was really just one mistake.
Yeah, I kept screaming, even if you have to dive, because Self-Force had the portal key, he had the tablet, he could kill artillery.
Yeah.
But no guarantee that they would have got away with the Doombringer. That was well played by Parallax to get in and get out. Yeah, it looks like the game is underway, ladies and gentlemen, here. Sync Esports versus MRR.
Yeah, and the lanes are starting to shape up, I think. No, actually, I'm just kidding. They're just running into the jungle, protecting their side. But I do believe it's going to be pretty standard lanes. You have the Midas going to be in that off lane, the dual lane mid between the Pestilence and the Rhapsody. And up in the top lane, I think Haxor is going to be starting off solo against the War Beast.
Okay. Yeah, it's so hard sometimes, especially in these tournaments where people are swapping up their roles, trying to outsmart the other team. It's almost best to kind of just give it a moment because, once the lane's set up, if somebody doesn't like it, they're going to start rotating anyways.
Right.
But at least for the most part, I mean, this is going to be a safe lane Dark Lady for sure with the support of a Martyr.
All right, so interesting. It looks like Sync might be starting the Rhapsody down bottom and try to make some kind of a play here. Or is he just blocking the creep? This is interesting. I have not seen Sync do this before.
Huh. Well, this is something that Myth did against Complexity.
Oh, yeah?
They aided their suicide for a little while, and then they just kind of had Rhapsody take the bottom rune in 2 minutes and then go back into mid. Just kind of feel things out, but at that case, it was like a solo carry down here, so...
Okay, Rhapsody has been spotted by this lane ward though, placed by Leaf, so this play
Cat's
might
out of the
not
bag.
work out so well.
Yeah.
But Martyr is really far up. even though he has that vision, might not be able to escape. No, he's actually completely fine down here. But yeah, mid lane 1v1 matchup between Pestilence and Pebbles. What do you think about that?
Fairly passive matchup for the most part. I mean, unless we see some rotations from Rhapsody, I think it's going to be fairly even.
Yeah.
I mean, they both got hatchets. I don't think they're going to mess with each other too much. And we'll probably even just see, maybe if one guy gets frustrated, maybe toss a stun out to kind of interrupt their last hitting. But other than that, I think this is going to be a fairly predictable lane.
Yeah, Mick is actually playing the middle lane very aggressively, and he also skilled Bash, and he's blocking Pokebang and getting, Chidawan and getting so much damage in. That was so well played by Mickey, and he skilled Bash, and dude, that skill is proccing. I've seen it on cooldown like 4 times already.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that is something that people do, and if you can get the procs, then it can pay off, but absolutely, I think he's going to regret not having flight later. We'll have to see if he wants to rotate early. But
it's always good in the melee matchup, though. When you go up against the melee here on that middle lane, you can do what he just did right there, where he ran up. As soon as he got a bash on Chidawan, he decided to try to block him and deal some more damage with that Impale and get another bash. And Mickey's actually zoning him out pretty well in this middle lane.
Alrighty. Yeah, and I see it again here. Another Gore proc onto the Pebbles there. And I mean, he could definitely wear on. You can see he's already tore through all 3 of his Blightstones. And he's going to have to rely on getting a few more last hits here to buy out his bottle. Ooh, a nice toss, though. Mickey gets put into tower range. Luckily, he has that Impale to get out, but that could have been dangerous.
Yeah.
Only 1 tower hit, though.
For sure. Chidawan out of mana and out of region right now. He needs to get that bonus 1 more creep kill for his bottle. Mickey's actually a little bit behind in gold. He was playing for that harass game, but unable to prevent Chidawan from farming the bottles. This is a big deal. This middle lane is really going to be a huge game decider if they keep playing this aggressively.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see Rhapsody still down here in the bottom lane. Maybe planning on keeping an eye on the War Beasts or maybe on something like that, but
so
not entirely sure if Midas even really needs the help.
Yeah, I think this what they're doing is actually paying off. You see, Pokebang is not free farming. He's very far off. Haxorn also was going up against the dual lane actually up here. They used the Dr. Pulsar and Martyr up top to try to zone out the mage lane, which I find to be very interesting. As soon as they noticed that Rhapsody was bottom, they sent out the Martyr top and tried to help him out. And Warbeast is now jungling. He's skilling Battlecry from level 2, which is interesting for me as well. He's really putting emphasis on, we need to help those lanes. I need to help them out. And expect Dr. Pulsar to maybe just farm level 6 and then rotate down bottom. But right now, he's doing great in this top lane against Hax. Yeah,
sitting at 262 GPM here, almost 280 now. Top farmer on his team, and almost in the game. Aside from Tempest in the middle lane, there's an initiation. Pebbles gonna get the stun off with a help from Martyr. They get the kill onto Pestilence. Only caught the tail end of it there. That's a very sneaky Martyr.
Right, I think that was a good rotation from this. They need to do this, especially when you were looking at that middle lane. Chidawan and Mickey were both playing aggressive. And when you have 2 mid laners that both want to win their lane, that's usually what happens. They're on top of each other, their HPs are low.
Yeah, low HP, that's it.
Yeah, and then it's so easy for a support player to just rotate in like that and get that kill.
Yep. It does leave someone a little vulnerable. We see Pokebang down here in the bottom lane. I mean, he's still farming okay. I mean, he might recover now, but I mean, Midas level 4. Now Dark Lady's got to be careful.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're Dark Lady, this is not where you want to be at this point in the game, right? Of course, it's possible to recover very much so. Last time I saw Pokebang on Dark Lady, he was behind, and I mean behind. They were like almost 15,000 gold behind and Cleanse my middle lane.
Yeah, action in the middle lane doesn't look like anything's really going to come of it here.
Yeah, and Cleanse was like about 200 gold per minute ahead, and he did not care. He kept farming, he kept doing his thing, and he brought it back, and it ended up with them winning the entire series. So, Pokebang definitely comfortable in this position.
Yeah, and I think if nowhere else in the World Finals, I mean, we know the Tide teams don't like to ever give up.
Oh yeah.
They love to play these things to the bitter end, and you know, with so much on the line here, I expect that you know, even a rough start is not going to deter these guys. Again, though, now initiation comes on to Pebbles. He gets a really nice stun off that's going to hinder Pestilence, but Rhapsody, nice positioning by Serenia to get that last auto attack in. And that's pretty huge for Mickey here.
Yeah, I mentioned this at the start of the game. I thought they were going to lane it very standard and run that dual lane mid against the Pebbles, predicting that Martyr would be in the bottom lane. They ended up not doing it, and I feel like that gave Pebbles quite a lot. But with this skill, it actually puts Mickey at ahead in this lane again. So
yeah.
definitely a good play by Serenia. And like I mentioned, these rotations to mid are so easy when the mid laners are playing so aggressively.
Yeah. And, I mean, that level 6 first is going to hurt Chidowan so bad because Pebbles already has so little armor. I mean, that's going to strip him down to nothing, and these auto attacks are going to hurt. Ridiculous.
Yeah, up top, we got KSA. It's closing in on the level 6. I'm very intrigued to see what he does with it. Down
bottom. Yeah, Dark Lady could use those Swift Dark Slashes to get out of there rather than charging strikes, but Midas taking heavy tower damage.
Yeah, no, as long as Punk stays alive, it really works out. But is he going to make it out of here?
He's not safe just yet. The Staccato comes out. Rhapsody's going to get another kill here, and Serenia may get himself a nice pair of Striders soon.
Yeah, I hope he goes for the Steam Boots. I just like them so much more. But knowing Serenia, it's probably going to be the Striders and then following it up with a Void Talisman to deal with the War Beast. We saw in an earlier series, the Thai teams really like to put War Beast up against Rhapsody and just have him run her down. But I really like the way he's been playing so far. As middle lane, you see Midas has an invisibility route. They're setting up for this play, but it looks like Chidowan feels it out. Or?
Yeah, I mean, he's been, focused twice here, and here it goes again. The Impale will connect. Pebbles taking a lot of auto attack damage, and just like that, Zibby gets credit for the kill this time. That was a 100 damage auto attack. I mean, that's just like a big chunk.
Yeah, that was a great stun from Mickey. Actually, I thought it was going to miss, but he barely caught it. And these are the plays that he makes that make people think of him so highly. He just understands most of the heroes that he plays so well and knows the ranges of his abilities. Up top, Dr. Pulse is still farming. He's pushing at the lane now, so probably looking to make a rotation. I would like to see something happen down bottom.
Yeah. Oh, Mickey now, I guess Serenia feels like he gave him enough of a start, so ooh, that could have been close, but he's going to be off on his own here for a little bit, but just every little bit helps.
Yeah, and Dr. Pulsar now down bottom, going to initiate straight onto the Midas, and they're going to take him out. This was the exact rotation that I talked about. I'm a bit surprised Sync didn't see it coming.
Wow. Yeah, I did not catch the tail end of that, but credit for the kill going to Punk Peng, and it looks like Warbeast's going to come join the fun over here with that two points in Battle Cry and all these heroes here. They're going to put a nice dent into the tower if there's no response from Sync.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be one either. They're going for that counter push up in the top lane. Slap actually has used Veiled Rot to move up there. He was looking for a gank on the Doctor, but unable to find it, seeing as Doctor was bottom ganking. That's a huge play from KSSA, both avoiding the gank and getting a kill in favor of his own team.
Yeah, definitely good. Now look at Pebbles with a Haste Rune up at the top lane. He's going to look to come back behind Tempest. He's going to toss him right onto Magebane, but Tempest is going to do well played to sidestep it, and he's actually going to TP out before he can go down. And only good thing of this is Legion's going to come out with the deny on this tower.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. They had that kill. Chidowan unfortunately missing his stun. And in the meanwhile, I was watching the bottom lane. Pestilence actually TP down and prevented that tower push from being complete. So it's a great, I mean, overall right now, I feel like Sync, they're setting the momentum. And Serenia doing some stuff that I honestly haven't seen him do too much. This is how I like to see support players play the early game, where they really rotate around and try to punish the greed of the enemy team. Slap whispered me after the draft was done, actually, and told me, look at this MRR draft. They're so greedy.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of gold that's going to have to be distributed to this team. But again, they play for the late game. It's just the way they play. In the bottom lane, they're going to jump down here onto the Dark Lady. She does get the charging strikes off. She has Ghost Marchers. Look at her manning up onto Mickey. Gets that silence off to stop the Impale. It's like looking a bullet in the face just in time to dodge it. That was crazy.
I was actually having a conversation with Sync earlier, and we were talking about Punk Pang, and I was saying how well this dude knows his limits from playing against him at DreamHack. He just turned around, dropped an auto attack, dropped to 7 HP, and then walked away from there, knowing that he was fine against a Pestilence with Sprint.
Likely would have died if not, though, too, because if he didn't silence the Pestilence.
Right.
That was crazy, man. He's a mechanical master, what can I say?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you know what Haxern told me? He told me your guys' misplays made him look better than what he actually is. Hax, I'm talking to you. Did you just see what happened? That was sick.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody on this MRR team seems like they're making, like a montage-worthy series of plays. It's not Chitawan. What do you go, like 10-0 on Pebbles? Initiations, that was just big. Pestilence, though, saved by the protective melody here. And now the Sync's going to look to turn it.
Oh, what?
Huge toss. The poor man's portal key on the opposing team, though. And Pestilence going to be falling back here. Chitawan does fall as Magebane comes to join the fun. And a 5-man rotation here by Sync.
Yeah, but what a play by Serenia. Dude, Serenia is on fire this game. I feel like I'm watching myself. Is that being too egotistical? I feel like he's just playing the way that I like to see her be played. He's moving around the map very, very well.
Yeah, Sync is not done just yet. Pestilence, unfortunately, decides not to pursue here. No, I mean, Serenia is playing his mind right now. Out of his mind, rather. Yeah,
and Dr. Pulser's looking for Serenia. Is he going to jump in?
Dark Lady nearby. Sync's TPs are probably on cooldown here. Oh, so they found Rhapsody. I didn't even know she was in the jungle there.
Yeah, I mean, Caster's Curse, I guess.
I was looking here. We have the Charging Strike Silence onto Pestilence, but he got that flight off a split second beforehand, and that's going to keep him safe and sound.
Yeah.
I remember when that used to amp the damage you take.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the sprint you mean. Yeah,
yep.
Of course. Yeah, that actually has been changed, so yeah, only movement speed now. Great ability to use off cooldown. As the MRR going to rotate into the jungle, try to take out some stacks on that Pebbles, get him slightly closer to that portal key. I like this play for them. They have the hard camp stacked. It's going to be a triple. The timing here is just really well for them. They know what they're doing, dude.
Look at this gold per minute chart. I mean, it's like so dead even across the board for both teams. I was saying slightly ahead, but just the way that it's distributed, it's so balanced, and that goes, selfless plays. Everybody's taking their own little piece of the pie, and I really think that ultimately that's the best way to go. I mean, there are certain heroes that need farm earlier, but
yeah.
Nice
Meanwhile,
balance.
at the Ancients, Punkpank's actually been caught, but look at him again, gonna escape with just 10% HP. This guy knows his limits, man. If you're gonna kill him, you gotta bring enough resources to make sure he goes down.
Yeah, and I'm not an advocate for Ghost Marchers on almost any hero ever. I just, it's fun to play, but I feel like in competitive, you said it yourself. Swindle said that extra health makes a big difference.
You're talking to the wrong guy, though.
Oh, you love ghosties?
If you look at my games, I think I buy Ghost Marchers on pretty much every hero when I feel comfortable, except Moira where I go Striders.
Well, if you're confident, it's massive. I mean, we see what Dark Lady is pulling off here.
So my argument for Ghost Marchers is basically you need to be very, very, very good to play with them. As middle lane initiation is happening on Mickey.
Oh my god, another protective melody. This time it's going to be interrupted. She's forced to fall back, and Pestilence will feel the 4-man rotation here. Midas, though, he's hungry for more, and Martyr might end up being the Martyr for the day. He connects the Elemental Transmute. Magebane doesn't want to overextend here, and was that the right decision? Haxman might have been able to get a pick that right.
Yeah, you can't really question them right now. You're at a land setting. There's so much on the line. Neither of these players want to take too big risks, so backing off there, just playing it safe, not willing to risk it for just a support kill.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I guess you're right. It's just a support, but I don't know. Maybe throw the mana if there is action here. Midas taking a lot of damage from Dark Lady. Those Ghost Marchers able to phase right through the Elemental Replicates. You see the effort was there to body block by Zlat, but Zibby overstays his welcome, and this is quickly turning into a very action-packed game. Out of nowhere. I mean, it's been non-stop for the past few minutes here.
Yeah, and this is not a situation you want to see Punkpang in, where he's slowly crawling his way back into the game. He was sitting at 177 gold per minute.
Right.
Almost doubled it right now, and
pretty much.
If there's any player you don't want to see this happening with, it's probably Punkpang. I mean, Punkpang or Mickey, but in this case, Punkpang, because he's on Dark Lady.
Yep, and they've got a lot of carries. You would think this is the kind of lineup that Sync would love to punish. There's a haste on Pestilence here, and you can guarantee that Mickey's going to try to make some kind of play with it in the near future here. But it's also the Legion side. Double Veiled Rots activated on the prowl. Would you expect such a greedy, carry-heavy lineup to be this aggressive early?
This is something the Thai teams actually like to do a lot, where they pick very greedy heroes that can also gank. And then they play very aggressively into gain map control, into just slow it down and farm and have late game. They don't really like to pick those pushy style heroes, as you can see, but instead play that heavy map control with very, very strong late game.
It makes it for such an interesting game as a spectator, because it does catch teams off guard, even some of the best teams here like Sync. I think they've done a good job adjusting, though, and you can see that they already got the experience lead, and the goal lead is just practically dead even.
Yeah, as Cheetah in the middle lane looking for initiation, and he's going to catch Mickey.
Brand new pep. Yeah, Mickey does have that haste rune here. Slap joining the party here. Early portal key for him. Not something we're used to seeing.
I actually talked about this. This is the kind of style that Slap really likes to go for, where he goes for that straight blink and then into the shrunken head. So whenever you see that, you got to start thinking, all right, so who's going to sit out and cancel Tempest? And take a look at this Legion lineup. There's no hero that can stop him once he has his shrunken head.
Very true. Always a problem when you're up against a Tempest. If it's drafted last, you don't always have a chance to counter it. Mickey getting dangerously low here, but again, against Sync Esports, such a quick reaction time with the ports. You don't want to cross the river for a kill like that.
No.
But I swear I never see Slap go instant portal key. And I wish every Tempest would instantly go for it. Maybe it does depend on the fact that they don't have a way to cancel it.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view and my experience playing with Slap, he really likes to play this way at least. If he has the option of going for the blink into
so it's just
build,
more thought going into it than I realize half the time.
I think this is his comfort, but in this game specifically, it could be like you said, where he's just doing it because they don't have a cancel. As the Legion team's going to pause, it's kind of hard to tell if this is a strategic pause or if it's something wrong. The game has kind of been slow for a little while, so they might be discussing potential gank rotations.
Yeah. Look how far Dark Lady has come now. It didn't seem like 18 minutes after Ghost Marchers, and it's not the worst timing to pick up your Rune Cleaver. It's a couple more 30 seconds, so.
Absolutely not, especially when you've been putting emphasis on shutting down the mage main. I do believe that he is just getting his Rune Cleaver on the courier, so their timing is going to be about the same. And I think when it's the Dark Lady versus mage main matchup, it really comes down to who can get their farm faster. And if they're even, I do believe it favors Dark Lady. But you need to keep this in mind. Dark Lady's going up against a lot of lockdowns, so until she gets her shrunken head, there's really not much she can do in the fights unless she really waits out until the end of it. Whereas Hax has a lot of stuns to back him up, a lot of team support, so in Hax's case, he has that team behind him.
Very, very true. And on another note, we were wondering if it was a strategic pause. Forgot that we had the player cams up here. It did look like they grouped up a little bit and discussed something. So, maybe a little bit of both here. But either way, the game and the action is back underway. We see yet another Veiled Rot activated on Chitawan here. For me, with Pebbles, he's a hero all about timing. You've got that very tight window where you can be a god. I mean, unless you're Mickey and you're making like toss stuns to heroes across the map all the time. But, this is that timing. And he's going to come up there and see Mage Main. He unfortunately goes for the toss first, connecting on a creep. Still a bunch of farm.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. With that double damage rune, he probably would have been able to kill him. Just blinking slightly off. Not fast enough to react there. Haxer was actually pretty slow. I thought he was going to get caught, but the misclick on the toss, and Haxer is fine. This is a big kill that they potentially could have gotten there. Yeah,
a spiteful Pebbles stays in the jungle here and continues to clear out the camps, do what he can to kind of, take a little bit of farm from them as if he got a kill. Down on the bottom lane, these elementals are going to be pressuring the defense tower. It doesn't look like Legion team has any real intentions of defending this. And at this point, I don't really blame them. It's Elemental Void still off cooldown, and Slap's got the portal key. He's itching to use it.
Yeah, for sure. He has had that portal key for quite a while, and using that Tempest ultimate pretty much on cooldown is a very big key in how you get farm as a Tempest and how you really get ahead. You want to rotate around, get that ultimate kill, and then move somewhere else, but he's just not able to find those openings. But the objective gaming, it's always important, and once you start reaching this point in the game, that tier 1 mid tower for the Hellborn does so much work. I actually consider this to be the highest value tower. It protects Kongor, and it allows you to steal it so easily after a team fight. You just TP there, get Kongor, or you just run there, and you can have whoever died in the fight TP in quickly and come help you at Kong. So keeping this tower alive for this long in the game is usually a very, very big sign. I would want some statistics on how many times you win game when your mid tier 1 tower as Hellborn is alive after 15 minutes.
That's, sure that if we looked at setup, there might be some kind of something to it. I mean, everything you said in terms of why the middle tower is important seems to make perfect sense. Ooh, here comes Lap Portal keying in here, but Dark Lady will get healed up by Martyr, ends up sacrificing herself for the greater good, and I can't really complain about that. Dark Lady's coming to the turn. There's an Elemental Void happening. Pestilence and Midas now in the back. There's the Elemental Void on a Dr. Repulsor, and Sync will get 2 kills out of it here.
Yeah, that was a huge play by Serenia once again, landing that ultimate perfectly there. Just waited for the Dr. Repulsor to use those opposite charges, and then as soon as they saw the animation go off, there comes the ultimate from him. So great play by him, forcing them to either jump him or go for, or not initiate at all. And they decided to initiate, he gets the ultimate off, and they get the kill. Sync's looking good in this game, I feel. They're pushing in that tier 2 tower mid. So much map control in their favor.
Yeah, they definitely got a little bit of momentum coming after these last few team fights. But then again, you know, playing around a temp is such a long cooldown.
Bottom. Warbeast is caught.
Bottom, yeah. Pestilence going to man up onto Warbeast here, and he's got a lot of friends nearby. You can tell Tempest doesn't want to be the man up on the front line, and he doesn't have to. He's got plenty of support around there to clean things up. Dark Lady making a huge play here, attempting to take out the Mage Wave. The Bale comes in. No, Dr. Repulsor comes in to join the fun as well, and this will definitely be worth it as MMR takes out 2 of the major heroes here. They're not done just yet. Pebble's going to get the stun off on a Midas as well. One more auto attack. They come out. Smell like a rose, man. 3-0.
Yeah, and another double kill. I mean, actually, just 1 kill going the way of Punk Pang, but this guy is getting so high on the GPM charts. So Hackstern's actually dropping behind now in gold per minute, and this is so important for the Dark Lady. Well, let's take a look at the replay. So you have the initiation here on the Mage Wing. This was so manly by Punk Pang to actually know that his team is coming. Good communication being shown. And look at him just manning up on the Pestilence, knowing that he has the Martyr to back him up. And Zibu out of mana after that mid-fight, then rotating down for the bottom kill. They just overextended their boundaries, really.
Yep, on top of the 3 kills, they're going to clean up, get that tier 2 tower down to the bottom. I know it's no mid-tier 1 by any means, but it's still a little bit extra change in their pocket. It's always nice to take a little bit of extra objective after a team fight like that. Now, one thing that scares me, as well as Sync is doing right now, is just the sheer number of weapons on this Legion side. You know, like you said, it's very greedy, but at the same time, as time goes on, they're somehow finding farm. They're still all doing fairly well.
Yeah, and it's very. I was just saying how good of a position Sync were in, but when you lose that kind of a fight, I saw this happen to them earlier. They really just cramped up and stopped playing aggressively, started playing as a grouped up team, and didn't take any risks after they just lost a fight like that. So I hope this doesn't happen again. They still have all the tools and resources to punish the greed coming out from MRR. And we see even more greed. Alchem's picked up on Pestilence. These guys, as soon as they realize that the enemy team isn't punishing, they go for those items. They try to greed it up.
Yeah. Bottom lane, some action as the Hellhounds are able to scout out Zibby in the woods. He's going to activate that TP. Can he get out in time? Dark Lady's on cooldown. He's going to be just fine. So, yeah, I mean, if you're saying what's true, that they still have a chance, you're right. I mean, Alchemist Bones on a Pebbles, they definitely are leaning towards the later game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, you know, he doesn't have, like, that Bulwark. They don't have any team fight items at all right now, aside from, you know, 1 Ring of Sorcery. And I think he just, okay, he's still got the Ring of the Teacher, but that's hardly anything when you've got so much gold in the hands of your whole team.
Yeah, very true. I expect Sync now to farm up that Shrunken Head on Slab and then hopefully force a team fight. Don't let MRR keep farming with these massive farming tools. There's just no reason. You can definitely punish this. If Make was in this game, he'd be saying, Pesty, Midas, you guys run around the map and kill heroes. We're going to destroy them. We're going to roll straight over them. He loves this kind of game, man.
Yeah.
This is the kind of game where you can punish the enemy team. You can be the aggressors, but Sync, they're kind of lying back. I don't like seeing this from them. Well,
it's a scary team to lie back against, too, because Chidowan's going to be constantly on the hunt. And you know if Chidowan comes at you, God Kese is not far away with the ludicrous speed. So it almost is like a double-edged sword. And both edges hurt Sync. Because if you're not aggressive, you're vulnerable. Dark Lady going way out of her boundary zones here, though. That's a big mistake, maybe the first of the game by Punk Pang here.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what they need to do. You pair up that Pestilence with the Midas, and you start roaming around for kills. Back when I was playing a lot, this is something that I used to stress a lot as a captain. Oh no, Leaf, what are you doing?
Yeah, Leaf going for the over-aggressive ward placement here. He is not long for this world. Pestilence just goes to town on him. At the same time, those Guardian Wings keeping him alive. Is there any time, though? Nobody on the Legion team seems to be wanting to rotate over.
I feel like he could have killed him. If he just kept channeling the ultimate. I don't know if he misclicked or what happened, but if he kept channeling that ultimate, he would have had Pestilence down to 10% HP. As Congo is going to now start taking some damage from the Hackster and Mage Bane.
Yeah, I tend to forget that hand-in-hand can be used offensively like that.
Yeah, this counter ward placed down by Serenia, spots out that Hellhound. They know that they're doing this, but no interest in trying to defend it. No Punk Pang, no Martyr. There's no way they can take that fight.
Not a problem at all. Orbeast quietly accumulating more items. He now picks up the Abyssal Skull. You know, just another bonus if you're a melee hero, and there happens to be 3 of them on this team. Get a nice little effect from that, and it frees up the slot for Dark Lady. So I like the itemization so far here, aside from all the Alchemist Bones, but...
Yeah, no, but I mean, when the Alchemist Bones aren't being punished, it's a fantastic item. The way that the Thai teams have been buying them, I feel like they usually wait out, look for what is the team doing. Are they going aggro? Oh, no, they're not? All right, we're going to pick up more Alch Bones. The first one is usually always picked up on the jungler because he has the free farm in that phase of the game.
Right.
And if they notice that the enemy team isn't pushing their advantage, isn't trying to force it.
Ooh. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, Mage Bane, he just blinked into 2 heroes. This is going to be his token of life. He's going to go down to the Dark Lady and the Doctor Pulsar. Turd. I can't come up with a better name.
Lose the token at this point. He is going to try to get something out of it here, but Dark Lady with those Ghost Marchers just so fast. Pestilence, though, he's even faster with the flight. Comes in with the Impale, following up onto the Swarm. Midas here to help him, but where is Midas? Where is this Martyr? He comes out of the woodwork, I swear, every time. Dark Lady's going to continue to live here, but here comes Slapped. Going to lock down Dr. Repulsor, and this quickly looking really nice. Trade a token, you get 2 or 3 kills out of it.
Yeah, and Mickey's not done yet. He's diving to tower for the Martyr kill, but is he overextending his boundaries? It doesn't look like it. Is he fine? Yeah, he definitely is.
Pebbles, can he make a judgment call here?
Oh,
doesn't look like he did. He had stalactites off cooldown.
He definitely had those stalactites off cooldown.
Is that what they're called?
No, you just said it wrong.
Stalagmites.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, meanwhile, in the top lane, tier 2 towers dropping.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, top tower dropping down. Sync. As I said, they're in a good position. The gold experience lead now in their favor. Before that fight, I actually think it was pretty even, but with that fight going their way, they're now ahead. I think even before they were in a very good position. The resources weren't really telling
Oh, Pebbles coming in. I'm not sure what happened there. He just stuck complete thin air. It was a nice little blink away by Mage Bane. Now they're going to turn their attention on to Midas. Dr. Pulsar zipping around. He gets the Mana Rift, but it's not going to do the most damage here.
The Guardian Angel actually preventing almost all the damage from that Mana Rift. Pretty sure he would have killed him otherwise.
Why it didn't hurt him so much. Okay. Well, a nice post-up of defense there. They keep their tier 3 tower alive. That camera lock got stuck there for a second. Happens from time to time.
Yeah, Dark Lady now back to farming, gonna push out that middle lane. Looks like he's going for that shrunken head. And look at this, MRR do such a great job of stacking. I feel like between all the teams, they keep stacking throughout the entirety of the game. The small camp now double stacked for Pang to come.
Shadowon will jump onto Serenia here, but he doesn't have enough. Dr. Repulsor, of course, right behind, but Midas with the most beautiful elemental warp in this game. And that's punishing the over-aggression here of Shadowon. That's gotta be like the 10th Veiled Ride he's bought this game.
Yeah, and ever since Pestilence and Midas paired up, I mean, they've been getting kills.
Yeah.
I think, like I mentioned, this is something that you need to do around this phase of the game, and, you know, Makia's #1 ranked ladder for a reason. This is what he always calls for. Get the 2 initiators together, get them roaming, and get those kills. And look at this, they're going straight for the base right here. They're going to go for those racks.
Can't blame them here. They got a chance to force buybacks. Little do they know, Dr. Pulsar does not even have enough money to buy back. So unfortunately, he's just going to have to watch in dismay as his tier 3 tower falls. And the only good thing for the Legion side at one point, didn't notice when, but that Hellborn tier 1 mid is finally gone.
Yeah, it sure is. And Shadowon actually using a buyback there. He's struggling in this game.
That's what Sync wanted to do, and MRR takes the bait here.
Yeah, for sure. And now it's back to farming for Sync. I think they're in a great spot. I want to see the Pestilence pair up with that Midas. You see an invisibility rune. Oh, actually, it's a haste rune on Mickey. Going to be scouted out by the Hellhound, though, so if they were to go for a play right now, it could be pretty big for MRR with a counterplay. I love this pickup.
Using the Hellhounds to scout like that, I mean, even at this point in the game, it's not like you're just scouting out positions, but if they're taking note of, like you said, just a rune in the bottle, that could be, you know, the difference maker here.
Yeah.
But I also got to say, I mean, you called it. Grabbing that Alchemist Bones on the Pebbles, it seems like MRR had all of the momentum in this game, and he spent that 2K gold on it. It's not like he got it really early. He could have gotten a real item, and he opted not to, and Sync punished it just as predicted, so...
Yeah, and Mickey picks up a Tablet of Command. I absolutely love this item in this game. Whenever you're up against these heroes that really need to stay on you to get those kills, for example, War Beast or Dark Lady, I mentioned this in the earlier game, but if you can tablet yourself up or down a cliff against War Beast, it's usually very hard for him to follow you. And some of you might say, well, Dr. Poster can just jump after you and uses some extra mana, it's no big deal. It is in some games, isn't it in some games, but in this game it actually is. They really only have that one stun from Doctor, and if they tablet the person away from him, the bonus follow-up damage can't be there.
Did you see this?
Oh, I actually missed
portal keyed right here and kept going.
Oh, wow, that's so
Peng
close.
just ducked right into the trees. Would have died, no doubt there.
Yeah, I actually think I've seen Dark Lady hide out there twice in this game so far. He seems to just really like that spot. Like, push out the lane, go sit there and wait. Look if somebody's nearby. And, again, Ancients are being stacked. They're really setting up this game very well for themselves. And even though the resources aren't indicating of them coming back, I feel like if they keep on this mentality where they're constantly stacking for their players, eventually that's going to turn.
Yeah, they're utilizing their jungle. I mean, at this point, it looks like Sync might come around here and clean things up a bit. But even the enemy jungle, they're just going all over the place, trying to squeeze every last bit of gold out of the map. They're so good at that. And it's not something that I think they were very good at last year. I think they kind of learned that from us, or from the NAEU region. I feel like they've gotten so much better in gold efficiency.
Hey, I'm not sure, man. We lost to them, so what can I say? But you see Slap now has his ultimate off cooldown. I believe they're going to go for a push. I like this play from Sync. Don't let them farm with those Alchemist Bones. You need to punish this greed, and I feel like they're finally doing it. Hopefully they commit to this push, probably waiting for that Shrunken Head. So make us TPing back top now. You want to see a lot of heroes showing bottom. Haxor's actually going to go pound onto that tower, so they should be able to get this kill. No! He knows better. What a play by 017.
Yeah, he felt something wasn't right. That was really good timing on his part there for sure.
Yeah, and this is something that I like to see when players do. So Sync show their mage lane down at the bottom lane to give 070 a false sense of security. Like, we're pushing bottom, Pestilence sitting behind me. But in reality, Pestilence TP's back and sets up. But 070 doing the double mind game of being, I know you're just fake pushing bottom, and I know Mick is already back in base, and just backs off in time. And this is done with game sense. There were no wards. There was nothing to show him that. He just played it off of how he felt.
Yeah.
And it's so impressive to see that high-level gameplay.
Absolutely. Speaking of high-level gameplay, Shrunken Head on Tempest here. A good 5 minutes. Still no God Hole. Do you think they just hang on to it as that looming threat to kind of prevent Legion from being aggressive, or really think it's only a matter of time, another item or two before they try to make their move?
I just feel like right now Sync should be on the hunt. I want to see the Midas and the Pestilence just really pair up and look for kills, because any kind of kill here could be a high ground push for them.
So for Tempest, I mean, no, you don't really need to see any aggression out of him, because I feel like I hate to see the Tempest ultimate on cooldown for so long.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But for me, it's like, all right, you got to look at the player, you got to look at who's playing it, and it's Slap. And I know this is how Slap likes to play his Tempest. I think he's used about one ultimate so far in this game, and it was on Dr. Pulsar up top.
Yeah.
But I think he views it as follows, where he feels like if I don't use my ultimate, they have to be scared of it the entire game.
Yeah.
They don't know where I am. So he's playing on that passive presence of the ultimate rather than the active presence. Because, you know, as long as Tempest Ultimate's off cooldown, you can't really clump up. But as soon as he's used it, you have free reigns in teamfights to play however you want. And in that way, he's enabling his own team to deal more damage and preventing MRR from doing it. So that he's not stunning them, but indirectly he's making sure that they're not dealing damage.
Yeah, I completely understand that aspect of it. And, I mean, it seems to have worked for a little bit at least. The Legion team has stopped pressuring team fights after losing a couple here. So,
yeah.
Or even any gank attempts, really. Chidowan is just completely turtled up into this shell.
He's actually been prioritizing his farm a little bit more, I believe. He's
Yeah.
closing in on that Shrunken Head, only needs 10 gold, so that should be coming up soon. And Shrunken Head hasn't finished on War Beast. He did go for that Shield Breaker first. I'm very intrigued to see what Dr. Pulser's bought. I think it's on the courier right now.
Did Hexron just right-click a wing bow?
Oh, wow. Does he already have that?
I think he just, all in once, boom. He just got it.
Wow, that's huge. Hopefully they can... I mean, their next play right now is Kongor.
Yeah.
They're pretty much waiting for Kongor unless they're able to find a pickoff here up top. They know where MRR are, and they're going for it. That's actually pretty funny.
Oh,
MRR.
that's a nice ward placed by Leaf. It's going to spot the Pestilence out here. A Legion team, they don't know it, but they have the much better positioning right now. In fact, this Midas,
look at this.
I know, they just bumped into each other.
But they're both using the Veiled Rot, so neither of them is going to reveal
Now
each other,
there
but
it
now
goes.
they are.
Oh, the Storm Spirit. This could be bad for Chidowan. Oh, he gets the portal key off, but now the portal key coming up by Midas. It's a back-and-forth game of reaction here. Magebane coming to join the party. Pebbles luckily getting a toss-off before his entire mana pool was drained. It looks like the teams are trying to set up some kind of counter initiation here, but ultimately split things up a bit and disperse. Okay. Another false alarm here because Kongor's respawned. Sync's okay with dispersing here.
That was very interesting to me. As far as I know, if you get Cyclone, you're perplexed for a second. That did not seem like 1 second before you could use that Blink Dagger. Maybe even a game bug? So Perplexed disables the items for a second after you come down, and he was able to blink out almost instantly. So
it says, I'm looking at it right here, the Perplexed is for 2 seconds while you're Cycloned. If there's Windswept, it doesn't clearly say what that is, though.
I do believe Windswept is actually that
Oh yeah, it
disabled.
says Cyclone twice. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I do believe the second one is Windswept.
Oh, okay.
Effects. So yeah, I don't know. That was kind of weird to me. I actually feel like Zibis should have had that kill. By the way, Pebble's not picking up a Shrunken Head.
So
He's
yeah,
at 4,800 gold now. What do you think he's going for?
Demonic?
I mean, that's a fair point. They do have a lot of physical damage on Sync. They did just pick up the token onto Hacks. He's sitting at 630 GPM, and this is where he needs to be. For him versus Dark Lady, it's really the game of he needs to be ahead in items.
Right.
Dark Lady's next item should be the Savage Mace. I really don't see any item for him, any reason for him to go for any other item. I would also like to see the Bashers coming out fairly soon on the Warbeast probably. He's dishing out a lot of damage, so oh my god. Should've picked up Staff.
They saw this top push coming, and they opted to just split push bottom and mid. At the same time, it's likely going to cost them a barracks. Is this the right decision? Dark Lady, looks like Zippy might have been trying to interrupt his TP.
Oh, Cheeto. Oh no, Punk Bang.
Oh, he panicked. I don't know if he had, he did because of the creep. So he used his Shrunken Head there in like panic mode. They get a pick off onto Tempest.
And it's a big one. He had a bound eye on him, so that's going to go into the inventory of Pebbles. He's definitely happy with that.
Pebbles went for the staff.
Yeah,
Second staff of the Master today.
He bought it the first time too. I mean,
Yeah.
This seems like an item that they really value highly. I remember back in the Sync days, Mickey would keep saying, "Let me buy staff, guys. It's really good. Trust
It's
me."
so fun, and yeah, because the way that Mickey plays, you know, he uses the toss not just for damage, he uses it as utility and put the enemy team out of positioning.
Right.
Well, now you toss 3 heroes into the well or something. It's very situational.
Toss it onto the Dark Lady as she charges back into the well. How cool wouldn't that be?
I mean, it would have been the coolest. Fortunately, Warbeast
It's
will
taken out
fall
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But whether the staff is a good item or not, I don't really know. We always told Mickey no. Me and Casey were like, ain't happening. But
It's so much gold for Pebbles, and it just doesn't do a ton more than the basic items that it comprises of.
right. And you really have to toss 3 heroes, or it doesn't like do anything at all. And how often do you notice three things stacked up together? I just feel like it doesn't happen too often. You know what I think would have been cooler, actually, in hindsight? What if the staff did triple stalagmites, and he gets triple the damage on stalagmites from his toss?
Why not both? Well,
Hey, I'm game for it.
What I like to do is, if you're going to
Bottom.
Yeah. If you're going to get the Staff of the Master, then you might as well get a Restoration Stone, too. And just toss
actually,
6 heroes.
Mickey was making the point of staff gets good once you have restoration.
Yeah,
Stone.
it does.
But yeah, no, so another argument you could make for it is that, you know what, he's going up against a Mage Bane with Geometer's Bane, so he wants to make sure that he always guaranteed gets that initiation. Punk Bang, by the way, going for a Shroud.
I think he just wants to have fun. It's
Really?
so fun. You get tossed 3 heroes at once. Come on, man. Oh, man, here comes Dark Lady's going to get Storm Spirited here, but Midas going to get jumped down by Doctor. He will fall back into the background. Dark Lady's going to get caught in the Elemental Void here. Mage Bane pouring the auto attacks into him. He goes down. He has money for buyback here. I imagine he's got to be considering using it as the D-Tower goes down. This could be the second set of barracks. Warbeast, though, with that shrunken head, putting a ton of damage into Mage Main. There we see the portal key toss onto the 3 heroes. Rhapsody will continue to keep the melody up, activating that Void Talisman. Mage Main's eventually going to go down. Now he has the token. Looks like Vitus attempting to heal himself. We see another 3-hero toss coming out here. Pestilence will fall to the Dark Lady, who did eventually buy back here. Now it's the rest of the Legion team falling back. A huge mana void taking out the Dark Lady. But they protect their barracks.
Or do they? Mage Main's still fairly healthy. Gonna run back in there, drop some auto attacks, but it looks like they're backing. Doctor's Pulsar with huge damage on top of Serenia. Pebbles is back though. Now Mage Main's in trouble. They're gonna go for the skill. He gets Storm Spirited.
Wow, Mage Main gonna blink out in the nick of time. And what a play by Midas, leaping into position and still getting the portal key off. It looks like he's ready to go back in here. He is trying to taunt Chitawan here. And wow, unbelievable that Mage Main gets out of there alive. They force out buybacks on yeah, check out this replay really quick. This was an intense fight.
Yeah, so here we go. It started off with Zibby landing that huge transmute onto Punk Pang, and they even managed to bring him down using the Tempest ultimate. No ultimate from the Martyr being used there. I'm a bit surprised about that. And then they followed up with almost bringing down the Warbeast. He's forced to use the Shrunken Head just to run away. And you know, you really don't want to do that. Then the huge initiation in the background, followed up by Dr. Pulsar. But look who's there to save the day. It's Serenia. And just that 1 second or 2 seconds of Rhapsody Ultimate really made a big difference there. As Mage Main eventually going to go down, both teams kind of resetting back. Pebbles initiating in, and unfortunate for Mickey, he gets caught in that toss as he blinks in. Yeah. So the staff of the Master kind of doing work in that fight, to be honest. And now we have the teams once again kind of resetting back and back to the live game.
Yeah. Thought we might catch the tail end of that little Midas escape taunt. Zibby was definitely playing a little bit of mind games there. But
dude, I was telling Breaky, but Zib has been on fire in this event.
I swear, tonight, above all. Here comes Pebbles initiating on a Mage Main. Dr. Pulsar flies in, but here we go again. Serenia with the protective melody. Almost a full duration, and then Mage Main's going to be able to stay alive. He's going to be able to turn here. Warbeast activating his Shrunken Head now, but he knows he can't do it alone. He's got to be wary. Pestilence gets the swarm off on a Warbeast, and I don't think he's long for this world. The Shrunken Head does wear off, and the Pale to follow up, and Sync's looking really good here. 3-man down, only man left with a buyback is Pebbles. He uses it immediately here, and they know if they lose this second set of barracks, this could be the game.
Yeah, Dark Lady Ultimate's going to be used. Pebbles going to blink in, but
what the tablet?
Quick fingers there on Mickey. Stun being whiffed as well.
Wow, huge Impale going off there. Dark Lady, she's locked in place. The core proc's going out left and right. Is she just standing still? Looks like the Elemental Void going through. It doesn't look like the Martyr, the Guardian Wings. They went on Dark Lady before the ultimates. She's going to go down a genocide here in favor of the Hellborn team. T's and GG's being called. You know what that means?
Sync Esports out of the group, boys. Curse has been broken.
They will make it. The curse apparently has been broken here. MMR played their hearts out this game. It looked so grim so many times for Sync Esports here, but you got to hand it to these guys. They must be so damn happy right now. You can see them up here on the camera. Oh, man.
Are they even aware? They look so chill. Look at them. Do they even know they just made it out of the groups?
I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. They think they got one more game in front of them.
I think they do know, though. They have to know. Maybe they're just that much of competitors. They're like, you know, we won the game, but we're here for the series. We're not happy with just winning the one game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do have another game ahead of us, and if that was any precursor, like you said, deep down, it's all about the heart of the game, the bragging rights.
And so I just want to say, after winning that game, Haxorn just posted D-Dog who?
Ooh, shots fired.
That's got a sting.
It stings me. I mean, I had high hopes for D-Dog, but also Myth, who I'm happy did make it.
Yep.
And, yeah, so we're still going to see.
So, yeah, I mean, do you know which caster predicted D-Dog was going to struggle at this event? We got a replay coming up.
Let's take a look at this last one here.
Yeah, so this is early on in the game when they get that first kill. Down bottom now, another team fight. This one,
that was the brilliant.
Made it away. Yeah, that was so huge.
A little slap in the face before turning around.
Yeah, and here in mid, man, Serenia had so many good ultis. That was unfortunately one of the ones that weren't on point. Punk Pang actually canceling it out, but this was such a good game for them, I feel. It
was such a, it's like a monumental achievement. You go up against this team, You almost give them the tools to take it out of your hands, but you do excellent teamwork. Slap waited the perfect moment for his elemental voice. They weren't many, but it is quality over quantity here tonight
yeah, for sure.
in the Sync versus MRR series. And we got a special treat coming up. You know, you definitely want to watch this action here. This was really nice plays coming out by MRR.
Yeah.
But we do have a special treat for you guys coming up in just a moment here.
Actually, we call them potentially the best player in North America.
The Hope.
The Hope of North America. And as soon as this replay is over, you guys should expect to hear from
that Pebbles toss over there. This was such an exciting matchup. So many huge, large-scale team fights. And, yeah, I mean, it was just a blast. I'm sure everybody at home is loving this one here. Just to see those 3 heroes being tossed up.
Yeah.
Can we see more Staff of the Master Pebbles? Please, competitive players.
I feel like it's just
Heed
not
my
that
call.
good, though. It had impact in that fight, but, I mean, Shrunken Head, Demonic Breastplate.
Well, it's, like you said, it's another one of those playmakers, you know?
Right, and this was, I think, one of Serenia's game-changing ultimates. This one was in the end, but when you saw that ultimate go off, you just knew they weren't going to kill anyone.
I didn't think Sync had it up until this fight. Like, this was the point that they won the game. I mean,
yeah, this was just like the perfect fight for them. This was the first time they just clean swept them all out. And
you can see the gold lead, too, in their favor at this point. I think at this point we weren't even looking at the gold lead, though, because it's not like when you're playing with these kind of players, you can overcome these things.
Look at that ulti. Slap is just like, he put the dot over the I in Insania.
Absolutely.
He just held that ultimate to the last moment, added insult to injury.
I'm not sure I know what that means, but we do have that special treat for you guys. If you're ready over here, Breaky CPK joined by Fuzzy Sloth, the Hope of NA. Congratulations, Fuzzy, on making it to past the group stages here. Let's see what's going on here.
There we go. Now you should be able to hear me. All right, anyways, welcome, guys. As they were mentioning, I am joined by Fuzzy Sloth here, the one, the only, the pride of America. I don't know what we're calling you nowadays, but you're a great player. That's what matters. So how's it going, Fuzzy?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm feeling good after we qualified today, so.
That's right. So we got to take a step up. There we go. We're adjusting on the fly right here. So you guys qualified. That's what I wanted to talk about here. You guys qualified. Yep. You are the second place team, I believe, coming out of Group A. You got Myth over here. They're actually currently still playing against Wingbow.
Yep.
They're the team that obviously is going to take that first seed. They defeated you guys 2-0. I mean, what did you think about that series after it happened?
We scrimmed them, I think, 3 times this past week, and we were able to take 1 game from them pretty easily, but I think today was more one of the games where we had a bad draft, the order of it. And then the second game, we just had to shut the game out, but we weren't able to. So, but they're a really good team. They're solid. They have a versatile play style. So. Yeah.
What have you found out about the Thai teams? You got a chance to play both Myth, of course, and then Komochi, who you beat 2-0. Has there been surprises for you guys, or do you feel like you actually were prepared for what you saw?
There have been some surprises on how they draft and their play style, but we did some research, and they sometimes play super greedy, so we knew that was coming, but they can also play super aggressive, which I'm not sure we were totally ready for, but I think we'll do well when we get to play on the main stage again. So
they use failed rot a lot. That's what we're noticing. That's what I'm noticing, at least, a lot of these Thai teams. A lot of failed rot action coming out, so a lot of guessing where they are, essentially, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Makes it frustrating. So you mentioned you got the chance to play on the main stage. I believe you placed Komochi in the matchup there. What was that like, being on a player booth on the main stage and everything?
I don't know. It was a great experience. Yeah? It was nice to start it off with 2 wins also on the main stage.
That helps.
So. Got the adrenaline
pumping.
Were you
nervous in the beginning? I mean,
sitting backstage, I was actually pretty nervous.
Okay.
But once we got out there, and then Love got Bloodlust right away, and that just got us pumped, and we were ready to go. So
taking care of business, Now we had the opening ceremony and everything. You got to be part of that. So that must have been. It's like one of those unique experiences, I'm sure, that you're gonna go through. So hopefully you had fun with that at least. But you're moving into tomorrow now. Sigh of relief, you made it that far at least, but there's still work to be done, right? Like now tomorrow, business to be done here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just got to, I guess, play to our own strengths and try not to change it up too much because There was a game against Wingbow where my drafter kind of griefed me.
Okay. Well, what happened there?
He picked me Devour. Last pick. I mean, I love the hero, okay, but we were against Drunken Master, Pestilence, Bubbles, and a Moira.
Not the easiest heroes to be good against.
They kind of countered me.
But I see what you're saying, yeah.
Scary game.
A little bit of troll there going on. That's dangerous, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah, we still won, but...
So, actually, really important right here. So, we just actually saw they were casting Sync versus MRR, of course. Sync did win that game 1 to the end. So, we know that it's Sync and MRR now, no matter what. D-Dog, unfortunately, they're not moving on now. Obviously, their 0-2 loss to MRR, ultimately reason for that. So, Sync versus MRR moving on. We don't know who's first or second yet.
Yeah.
We know you guys are second. That means you play the first place team. If Sync wins this match, it's them. If MRR wins, it's them.
Yep.
Who do you want to play? That's a tough question.
To be honest, I'd rather play MRR.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if people would expect me to say that, but they don't know us and our playstyle as well as Sync does, so.
Okay.
And I think we can easily beat them if we just are playing our game, so.
Yeah. Have a Sync complexity in the grand finals? Yeah, that could be possible.
The NAEU finals in Thailand?
That could be possible with the way things are shaping up, but that's going to be interesting. So, yeah, again, if Sync wins, guys, it will be complexity versus Sync. If MRR wins, it will be complexity versus MRR. So excited for that. Fuzzy Sloth, I want to thank you for joining us, man. Any shout-outs you want to give? Anything else?
Shout out to Complexity, my family, my friends watching, my girlfriend, and my older brother who's here, and shout out to Garena. Everything's been great so far, and it's an experience of a lifetime. So.
It really is. That's the thing I like to get across to people, too. It's like, I know, we have our production issues or whatever, and it's hard to really get you an understanding of what truly it's like being here, but I guess trust us when we say, if anything, it really is awesome being here. The main stage, everything. Hopefully, you're at least getting that somewhat through video, through pictures, whatever it may be. So, thanks again, Fuzzy Sloth. Really do appreciate it. Obviously, best of luck tomorrow. We'll be watching, man.
Appreciate it.
Matt and Insania. Gonna wrap it up here, go to the break.
Absolutely here. So worth noting, you had a hard time there with Myth Mix, but the way it works out, if you have to face them again, it would be in the grand final. So you have a little time to sit on that here, and wish you guys, like he said, the best of luck going forward. I mean, other than that, do you have anything else you want to add before we take our break here?
I would just like to stretch out for this break.
This guy. All right, guys. Well, the action's not over yet, and this next one, as you heard, is a very important game. It will decide who Sync plays, who Complexity plays going forward tomorrow in the brackets, which could ultimately change the entire winner of this tournament. So stay tuned, guys. One more game coming at you, MRR versus Sync Esports, in just a bit.